So, first tonight, a church pastor from Nottingham has started work as the UK's first Windrush Commissioner. Clive Foster will represent thousands of victims of a government scandal that denied Caribbean migrants their legal rights in the UK. Well, the first 500 arrived aboard a steamship. It was called the Empire Windrush. Invited here to rebuild a country shattered by the Second World War, they were attracted by British government campaigns. Now, as citizens born in British colonies, they had a right of settlement in the UK. When the Empire Windrush arrived at Tilbury Docks back in 1948, it carried just a few hundred passengers. It's become a symbol, though, of the Windrush generation and of an era of Commonwealth immigration. Now, according to Oxford University, they're among 500,000 UK residents who were born in a Commonwealth country and arrived here before 1971. In 2018, the Windrush scandal erupted, a tale of lost or destroyed records, paperwork not done, and in the end, wrongful deportations. Well, Jeremy Ball reports now on the man from Nottingham, whose mission it is to set those injustices right.
The Pilgrim Church in the Meadows. This is where Clive Foster's a senior pastor. His own parents came from Jamaica and he's been leading the fight for justice for Nottingham's victims of the Windrush scandal.
I'm just going to take you through what the Home Office procedure is.
7 years after it was first revealed, many are still fighting for compensation.
The suffering, the anxiety, the stress.
But now, as the UK's first Windrush Commissioner, Rev Foster's in charge of holding the government to account.
Saying, this is what you need to do.
Clive Foster's a seasoned campaigner who's tackled issues from stabbings to hate crime in Nottingham. At this event, he told us about taking a stand against the old apartheid regime in South Africa.
Some people in Nottingham, black community, they spoke out about the issues of racial injustice in South Africa and could tie it to the inequalities that was happening in Nottingham with regards to things like stop and search. I felt even back then I could do something very small in terms of resisting this.
Rev Foster's vowed to challenge the British government in his new commissioner role to deliver change that helps the everyday lives of victims of the Windrush scandal.
They saw this country as their country.
But he wants their generation to be remembered, not for what went wrong, but for what he calls their extraordinary contribution to the UK.
Well, I'm delighted to say that Clive Foster is with me in the studio. Firstly, huge congratulations on this appointment. There's two things. One, what is the Windrush Commissioner and what practical difference do you think you're going to be able to make?
Well, the Windrush Commissioner will be engaging with the victims, Windrush communities and organisations that have been impacted as a result of the Home Office Windrush scandal, where so many people were wrongly treated and classified as being illegal. And so I will be acting as a trusted voice to bring scrutiny and independence to the ministers and the Home Office. And the role is really about advancing better outcomes for those who have been wrongly treated and those victims as well.
What most shocked you, do you think, about the Windrush scandal? And how angry are you about what happened to so many people?
Well, I think it was terrible that people who had the lawful and moral right to be in the country were treated as illegal. And the big thing that we have discovered through this scandal is the emotional trauma that this has caused. So one of the things that I will be doing is working to ensure that there is a trauma-informed response to those who've been affected. And I'll be working with people across the country. I've got to say that this role is for the whole of the United Kingdom, and I'll be working with people to ensure that that happens.
And do you have personal experience of this kind of trauma?
I do. I mean, I've been working for a number of years now, supporting people within my own church community and across the city who have suffered the terrible anxiety of being treated like they were, as it were, not part of the country. So I do understand firsthand how people are feeling, and I've been working as a national figure to work with people across the country to address this issue.
One thing I must ask, you were appointed by the government. Do you think some people will see you as a bit poacher turned gamekeeper because, after all, they employed you?
So this is an independent role. I have to really stress that. And I have access to speak to the ministers and to engage at the most highest level so that the victims' voices, those who've been most affected hear that voice. And I'm committed to do that, and I look forward to engaging across the communities and across the UK to ensure that those voices are heard and we can get better outcomes as a result of that.
Well, we look forward to seeing what happens, and we wish you the very best in the role. Thank you very much for coming to speak to us.